gummy bear.
It's the internet. You're busy. Let's do this for the next hour or so. Let me help you sort through the world of gaming on Game Mess Mornings Live with me, Jeff Grubb. Today, there was a Nintendo Direct yesterday that you just couldn't possibly sleep through, and Blizzard is making deals. But first, join me in welcoming today's co-host for Game Mess Mornings. It's Lucy James from Giant Bomb, everybody.
Hi, good morning.
How you doing?
How you doing, Jeff?
I'm
good.
Doing... Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, I love that we have like the two different PlayStation things here. I have like the mug that is keeping me sustained with the hot coffee, and then you've got the flashing #1 Jim Ryan fan.
#1.
I didn't know it flashed.
Yeah, I found the battery. Well, I couldn't find the plug for it. There's a plug, but also I don't want to plug it in. So I realized it could take batteries, and I was at the store yesterday. And I'm like, oh, hey, or the day before, I'm like, hey, AA batteries. I needed that for something. And I remembered it was the sign. So I'm like, okay, let's make that happen. So yeah, if I didn't turn it off yesterday and it's still going. So that's pretty good. So I'll just have to remember to turn it off today after the show. What have you been up to? You feeling pretty good about this week? Did you watch the Nintendo Direct yesterday and all that?
No, I didn't, because it was on. We were recording. I was off Monday. I was in a lake house recreating the quarry.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't actually realize there was a mine in the town that we were staying in. I was like, but luckily no one died.
When you're in that situation, were you just staying in the cabin or whatever, or were you guys wandering in the woods in the dark?
No. Well, we had like a little sort of balcony thing with a grill, and so that was the most we wandered. But also, it was so hot that genuinely we walked to the lake, and we were there for a couple hours, and we were like, oh god, we need to get food. And we were all so miserable walking maybe 0.2 miles back up the hill because it was so hot and so like close. We were just like so that was, I'm afraid, the most wandering that we did. But so because I was off on Monday, scheduling for stuff got pushed, so we had to record Jeff's Bizarre Adventure yesterday morning. So I missed the direct. However, all of my good friends were like, Persona's on Switch.
Yes.
We got that. We did it, Joe.
All my homies love that Persona's on Switch. Absolutely. Yeah. I just moved, so I'm like still like trying to figure out what the weather's going to be like here. It was always hot in Denver in the summer. But here I'm like, we're right on the lake. We're getting a little bit off the lake, but like basically the lake is like right there. And so it gets pretty cool sometimes. Although then I think when it's hot, it's also very, very humid. So that's been a problem too, but that's just the life I've chosen here, and I'm okay. I'm just gonna stay in my cool basement and just be cool, and that's the choice I've made. All right. Before we get into the mess, let's explain ourselves. Each weekday, I, Jeff Grubb, will help piece your gaming life back together. That includes breaking news, the catch-up, where we discuss the biggest topics consuming the lives of gamers everywhere, and maybe even bring some of our own original reporting. For all these topics, I'll get the input of a bona fide expert who will help me look very smart. If you are watching live on Twitch, welcome. You can always listen to the show later on podcast feeds by searching for Game Mess Mornings, or find the RSS on giantbomb.com. I believe that we are getting all that stuff sorted. Yesterday, or on Monday, was a bit of a mess with some of those feeds, and it wasn't updating properly. We're working on it. Should be fixed and working here pretty soon. You can also catch the show later with chapters and timestamps on YouTube. If you are watching on there, please give us that thumbs up. It helps people find the content. Okay, we do have a lot to get into, so let's start the morning mess with Blizzard acquiring Spellbreak studio. Proletariat is the name of the studio, to bolster World of Warcraft. This comes from Dean Takahashi at GamesBeat. He writes, Blizzard Entertainment has acquired Spellbreak maker Proletariat to beef up the staff on its massively multiplayer online role-playing game, World of Warcraft. Under the deal, Boston-based Proletariat will become part of Blizzard, and its team of 100 people will begin working on World of Warcraft, including the Dragonflight expansion coming later this year. Spellbreak, a battle royale game where wizards and wizards cast spells at each other, will be sunsetted. That's something the company announced actually yesterday in the lead up to this move. We are putting players at the forefront of everything we do, and we are working hard to both meet and exceed their expectations, said Mike Ibarra, president of Blizzard Entertainment, in a statement. A big part of caring for our teams is making sure we have the resources to produce experiences our communities will love, while giving our teams space to explore even more creative opportunities within their projects. Proletariat is a perfect fit for supporting Blizzard's mission and bringing high-quality content to our players more often. Lucy, Blizzard is it's reached like its weird midlife crisis stage, I think, a little bit, where it was the young hotshot studio for so long and everything it touched was gold, and now it's like it's a little bit it's having like an identity crisis where it doesn't know how to maintain that. It hasn't been able to maintain talent. Some talent it had to get rid of because when they were the young hotshot developer, they people who behaved inappropriately and in many cases illegally. And so they've had to sort of become part of this corporation under Activision and work in a more corporate mindset. And it feels like they've really struggled to do that transition. But recently, I think there's a good like a 1-2 punch here, where there was Warcraft 3 remastered or whatever it was, which was this terrible thing that they tried to do inside of Blizzard, and no one was happy with it. All the fans hated it. And then they brought in Vicarious Visions to help with the Diablo 2 remastered, and people seem to really like that. And now that it seems like Blizzard has just said, hey, we need to bring in people who are talented from outside, come in and become part of Blizzard. That is a strategy that works. And now here we are with them acquiring Proletariat. Do you think this is them just recognizing they need it's easier to just go out and find someone they know can make games to come work on the stuff that they need to get done?
Oh God, yeah. It's such a weird one because I always think of like Blizzard as being this huge place with so many teams that they could spend the time to make their remasters, or whatever it is. Like, I mean, helping out on Warcraft, but also buying a whole isn't the new Warcraft the new expansion's out this year, right?
Yes, that's what I said. Dragonflight coming later this year. This team is going to immediately start working on that content.
Wow. Okay, that feels quick. Like you
Agreed.
barely even get your.
It's June. It's July. It's basically July now. That's fast.
Yeah, that is very fast. But I mean, I guess you mentioned that like Blizzard was always the hot shot, and now it feels like they're living this capitalist life, this corporate life. And yeah, why do it yourself when you can pay someone to do it for you? This is what this kind of reeks of. I know that like the internal teams of Blizzard will be busy. I mean, Blizzard games have been few and far between over the past few years, especially like new properties, like new big releases. And so with Diablo 4 around the corner, with the impending launch of Overwatch 2, with more World of Warcraft, this is a move that makes sense. But Jesus Christ, is it shitty? And if you were a dev on Spellbreak, or if you're a fan of Spellbreak, learning that game is going to shut down and then finding out the next day that this is why.
Yeah, I wonder if the situation was possibly more like the writing was on the wall
to them.
Yeah, maybe the writing was on the wall for Spellbreak, and it's like they know their player numbers and stuff like that, and they know why. There's probably situations like, hey, it'd be nice if we could all get that payday, get bought out, and then also move on and keep working together. Like that would almost be the ideal. Or maybe we can get big venture capitalists and infusion of cash and go work on our next game after we proved what we can do with Spellbreak and take another crack at it. But there's a lot of risk associated with that. Here they get the payday and they get to go work on World of Warcraft, and then if they want in a couple of years, well, they'll get to keep all that money they got from being bought. I don't know if Proletariat is a massive studio. I'm pretty sure it's a relatively small company, so I think there's like a lot of ownership spread throughout the team there, I think. So they get to keep that payday, and then if they want, they can leave Blizzard in a couple of years, take that money, go start their own studios again, and have another crack at it. So it's like, hopefully it's not something where they had the rug pulled out from underneath them, and suddenly like one day they think they're making Spellbreak, and the next day they find out, no, you aren't making that game anymore. I'm so sorry. Here's your new address where you work now. That would have been kind of stunning. But let's see. This is more from Dean. The move is the biggest acquisition that Blizzard has made, at least for the past decade, to expand its studios. In this case, the mission is to beef up the staffing for World of Warcraft specifically, so that it can hit high quality and timing goals for expansions. Terms of this transaction were not disclosed. Activision Blizzard, the parent company of Blizzard, also folded Vicarious Visions, a longtime Activision studio, into Blizzard to work on the Diablo franchise in January 2021. But Blizzard hasn't been particularly acquisitive, as one of the few we can remember was the acquisition of Swinging Ape in 2005. Rather, Blizzard itself got tossed around quite a bit in its early days before landing with Activision Blizzard back in 2008. Proletariat has been working with Blizzard since May. So there's already been some partnerships there where they've already been working together. So it sounds like the team probably would have known what was happening here. But I think eventually you get acquired for so long, you become part of this corporate structure, you get infused into Activision in a way where it's impossible to like tell where Activision ends and Blizzard begins. And then at some point you become the company that begins acquiring people again. It just feels like that is the arc that they were on here. You are a big Overwatch fan. Is this something like where you're like, hey, if they need to keep Overwatch going, if they need to bring in talent, should they be acquiring teams? Is that something that you've even considered as someone who plays a lot of that game?
So I haven't thought about it within the context of Overwatch because the Overwatch team itself has tripled in size. So they've staffed, I believe, a
Right.
lot of it internally for that. So we went to Blizzard a few weeks ago, and compared to the team that worked on Overwatch 1, yeah, I think they're over 300 people or something. Don't quote me on that. I do have it. I have the transcript somewhere, or it's in the interview that we did with Aaron Keller, but they staffed up internally massively for Overwatch 2. Where those devs came from within either if they hired externally or whether they came from another team within Blizzard, I'm not sure. But the thing is as well, I mean, if you want to get into like the kind of outsourcing part of video games, and so outsourcing is a huge part of how games get made. Like if you look at
Absolutely.
the credits for games, there'll be kind of all of the people you would assume at like the head studio, but there'll be multiple studios in other countries, usually where labor is cheaper as well, to do various things. I'm going to shout out People Make Games amazing video on the kind of outsourcing life and how it can be a very negative thing as well. So if you check out People Make Games, they did a great video about this. But no, I don't know. I don't see it necessarily within the context of the Overwatch team. My question for you about this is like, what does this mean for the Xbox acquisition?
Yeah,
Um,
I think that this
Not
is
mentioned.
yeah, and I think it's because Activision, Blizzard, everyone over there needs to keep operating under the assumption that they are going to have to do business as usual. And if that Xbox deal falls, like they cannot be operating right now like our problems don't matter because soon they're going to become Microsoft's problems. Until that day happens, they are still they still owe the shareholders their best opportunity to get a return on their investment. And so that means finding a way to make more money next year than this past year. And that's why I think we're seeing so many things move up from Blizzard specifically. I mean, we are getting Overwatch 2 multiplayer very soon. They're putting out a Diablo 4 open beta this year to launch that game next year. People are going to be playing Diablo 4 in public this year. That's way faster than we were thinking when that game got delayed out of like this year. And then World of Warcraft, its Dragonflight expansion also coming this year. Like they are trying to get this stuff up. They're trying to make sure that their comparisons to the previous year look better than they originally said they were going to. And all of these things are, I don't think many of these games would be working in this exact way once Microsoft takes over. They'd be like, take more time, stop, get more people, do what you need to do, and we could delay these games, and that's going to be okay. So to all of this just sounds like, hey, in a world where the Microsoft deal doesn't happen, we need to make sure we're in a situation where we could be putting out a lot of content frequently. And that's almost explicitly what they said this is about. It's about making sure they can put out a lot of expansions still with World of Warcraft and maximizing the end of life of that game, which, I say end of life, it's going to last another 10 years.
It's going to outlive us all.
Yes, it's going to outlive us all. Yeah, absolutely. But it's like still the diminishing returns on this investment. It'll still be worth it, but they need to just kind of maximize it without spending years trying to hire people up. I think the Overwatch 2 example you gave made sense because they've been working on Overwatch 2 for years now. So of course they've been able to slowly build up to 300. When they're with World of Warcraft, they're like looking around like, hey, what can we do right now to quickly be able to bolster our ability to put out content? Let's buy a studio. It makes sense.
I mean as well, like in terms of like maximizing end of life, Overwatch 2 moving from boxed product and then everything else is free except for loot boxes, etc. To battle pass, definitely means that hopefully like the longevity of that game will be much longer. We're not going to have a drought of content. Like it's been over a year since we got the last hero. Within Overwatch 1, like if you look at Sojourn and now Janka Queen, both coming with Overwatch 2. And then the promise for Overwatch 2 is that there will be a new hero every 2 seasons. The season's going to be 9 weeks. As well as that, there's going to be different skins, mythic skins. There's going to be a shop. There's going to be the PvE is going to get rolled into it somehow next year. I'm optimistic, but that's just because maybe I've been starved for so long that at least I know I have a year's worth of content to look forward to with that game.
And yeah, maybe they know that's the way they need to be doing things, and so that's what like a lot of their business decisions are being based on that right now, and not relying on Microsoft. And as Matt on the site in chat points out, there could be up to a year between now and when this deal with Microsoft finally closes. It probably won't take quite that long, but it could. So they need to operate business as usual until then. All right, this just got shared as well from the chat. Thank you. I missed this from the news. This happened 11 hours ago, so overnight. Doom RPG port reverse engineering was successful. And so this is from Eric194 on the doomworld.com website. As we promised, the Doom RPG port for PC is finally here. Created using SDL2 and Brew version doomrpg.mod original file reverse engineering. This is my first port made for PC, and I hope this works for you too. Special thanks to Anar Kavre, and as thanks to him, we got the original Brew game files. You need to get the original files to be converted into a friendly format for the port. You can get them from archive.org. You can search Doom RPG Brew on the software menu. So hey, Doom RPG is now playable on PC. They ported it.
That's very cool.
Yes, it's really neat that someone was able to like get this done. It's something I've never played Doom RPG, so I'm gonna go for it. Yes. Yes. Tell them about the fat wads. Yes, we'll get those fat wads, everybody, for your Dooms. Okay, let's move ahead here to Xbox head defends Bethesda in the wake of crunch allegations. This is from ZZ Zhang from Kotaku. At an all-hands meeting on Thursday, Xbox addressed the growing employee concerns about labor conditions at Bethesda Game Studios and its parent company, ZeniMax. Matt Booty, head of Xbox Game Studios, said he was confident that the studio was not crunching and that it was unfair to attribute crunch culture to only Bethesda. In a QA, Booty was asked to address the Kotaku report from earlier this month, which documented troubling working conditions at Bethesda and ZeniMax during the development of Fallout 76. He said that Xbox took crunch reports about its studios seriously, but added, "The challenge with a lot of these articles is that they look backwards, sometimes pretty far back in time." While Kotaku's report mentioned that crunch occurred on older productions such as Skyrim, it mainly addressed the crunch that took place in 2018 on Fallout 76. Crunch culture is, if you go back 10, okay, and this is another one from Matt Booty. Crunch culture is, if you go back 10 years ago, it's a little unfair to put that on one studio. It was just part of the industry. I don't say that to justify it. I'm just saying that it was part of the culture of the industry. I literally slept under my desk early in my career, and we looked at that like a badge of honor. Booty said that working conditions detailed in the report were in the past. I know from talking to Bethesda leadership that we do not have a situation where people are crunching and we've got this bullying atmosphere. I'm confident about that. He then acknowledged that crunch could still take place without his knowledge and said that employees needed to trust Xbox's internal processes. He said that Xbox's human resources department would be willing to listen to employee concerns and that all studios had support groups for individual disciplines. There's avenues for them to report that anonymously back to us that goes through HR, Booty said. We have to rely on those independent systems of checks and balances. Of course, as this Kotaku story points out, HR is not really an independent resource, but what else is Matt Booty going to say? So the original story here, Lucy, was that that during Fallout 76, it was a pretty rough development and people were crunching on it and a lot of people left that game. It was kind of a mess. It was especially bad for QA. But that game, the development of that was like 4 years ago now, 4 years ago. And this was before.
Only?
Yeah, yes.
It was like a lifetime ago.
Yes. And it's like they've had a lot of chance to change under Microsoft. Whether or not they have is going to take more reporting, more people coming forward to talk. But this is Microsoft continuing to talk the talk about crunch, and we just don't know if they're walking that walk. How do you feel about Booty's sort of reaction here? Be like, hey, this happened a long time ago. We're doing what we can now.
I mean, realistically, in his position, what's he gonna say? But at the same time, it's like, crunch was. Don't put it on me. Like, crunch, this was just how it was, guys. Don't worry about it. But it's like, actively, what are you doing other than saying that people can go to HR? Why aren't you saying, I don't know, get that 4-day work week or go for it, Xbox. I don't know. It's a bit of a non-answer, really. I mean,
right.
That article that the Kotaku wrote, the report about Fallout 76, was really hard reading. And like, if you read any report on crunch within the industry, it is hard going, and it's difficult to imagine yes, we all have days where we kind of put a lot of ourselves into work, but then, what if you get to a place where you feel like you can't leave? What if you
Right.
feel like, the whole success of your project depends on how much you and your team push yourself? And then, like, if you're talking about being in a managerial position, asking people to do that while still maintaining a shred of empathy for people who are just trying to live their lives and, get stuff done. So it's support groups, HR, internal process.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very corporate answer. Like, if he really, I mean, this is a production issue. This is a ensuring your pipelines and your timelines are correctly estimated for how long you're going to need for things. Like, it's working within a team, and also there's no mention here of COVID, which has royally fucked everything. Especially in terms of game development. Like, people complain, oh, there's no games, whatever. It's like, you have to change everything. Everyone's been working in studios for pretty much all the major games are made within studios where people are in the same room using all the same tools that they need, using on the same network. And it's like, no, everyone's going home. So there's no mention of how that's going to be impacting things. Like, it's a very corporate answer.
Yeah.
It was a very rambly way of saying corporate answer.
Yeah. No, and I agree. The solutions he gave that like, oh, if we're going to focus on what we're doing to stop this, it is talk to HR, and that never feels quite I don't know.
What's HR going to do? It's a production issue.
Right. I kind of want more specifics beyond that. Like, oh, we have a process for you to report the problem. Well, okay, then what happens on the other side of that getting reported? What can Microsoft actively do? And I'm sure there are things that exist. Like Microsoft seems to have taken this stuff pretty seriously, from what I understand, and they do something. But according to Booty's answer here, it's very hard to specify what that something is. And this is not to say, I know a lot of people hear this stuff and they think about, oh, well, I mean, I work overtime at my job. No one's saying that they can't work overtime, and no one's saying that you shouldn't sprint to complete a project. That's something we've all done. I mean, I think about working in E3s, where that's like it's a 2-week-long sprint of like trying to get as much done in as little time as possible, taking on way too much work. And I like it. I liked it during that, but that's, it is a beginning and an end that is very visible. It all happens within 1 month. Extended long-term crunch was a systemic problem in video games from the beginning, and it got very bad as corporations like EA got very big in the early 2000s, and it was just expected that you would work 80 to 100 hours a week for years on end. And that's the thing that's like, okay, anytime the industry starts getting back to that, that's when it really needs to be examined again. And it sounds like Fallout 76 was bumping up against that, if not fully embracing a lot of that culture. And it's like, it's worth examining every time it happens. And saying, well, I do that at my job is not a defense. Like, that just means your job needs to be examined too.
It's kind of like the it kind of reminds me of it's like the sort of boomer argument of like, well, I had to pay student loans,
right?
So you have to pay student loans. Whereas it's like, no, I had to pay student loans, and I want to work for the future generations to not have to be crippled by that kind of amount of debt. And it's like, I slept at my desk.
Mm-hmm.
You'll sleep at yours.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yep. It's exactly. It's kind of just, and it's like things change, and things have gotten very worse for a lot of people. And so you were thinking about the good old days of sleeping at your job. Well, people are probably not getting paid equivalent to what you were getting paid at the time when you were doing that, just based on the way that wages have not kept up with productivity and things like that. All right, let's move ahead to Sony reveals new line of gaming headsets and monitors for PS5 and PC. This is said by Stephen Petit at GameSpot, I believe, right? Sony recently, I didn't put the name there, and usually that means it's GameSpot. Sony recently announced a dedicated push to expand the PlayStation brand to PC, and a new line of gaming products shows that the emphasis on PC gaming won't be limited to games. Meet Sony InZone, a brand new, it sounds like a football term. Meet Sony InZone, a new brand of products that is debuting with gaming headsets and gaming monitors for both PC and PlayStation 5. While largely focused at PC gamers, the InZone brand was also developed with PS5 users in mind, as it takes advantage of some of the console's audio and visual features. InZone is a Sony brand, not a PlayStation brand, and it represents the first Sony Electronics made series of gaming-focused products in a long time. So there's some headsets here, and there's some monitors here, and I can go over some of the details. I just going like, it feels like a Sony brand and not a PlayStation brand, right? Because it just feels like, to me, it sounds like a cheap
Doesn't
video game.
sound cool.
It sounds like a video game magazine made by a corporation in 1995 is what it sounds like.
Like I can see the meeting where they were
Yeah.
coming up with the name. It's like, when you're gaming, where you gotta be, man? You gotta be in the game. We can't call it Sony in game. We'll call it Sony InZone.
It's like when you're in the
that's-
zone, it's going to help you get in the zone even faster, brah. Yeah.
Bro, come on. Yeah,
Also, like, I wonder if it, like, and it sounds like when you get in the goal in football, it sounds like end zone, and we know like that's like where you need to be as well to score points.
Bruh, don't worry about it.
But it sounds like
gamers, they love it.
It sounds like a magazine they would hand you at the counter when you bought something at Circuit City in 1997. Like that's what it sounds like. Okay. The InZone gaming headsets. Sony's InZone gaming headsets come in three models: H3 for $99, the H7 for $229, and the H9 for $299. They have a white and black design that make them match the PS5, which is nice for those who pick them up for console gaming. The InZone H9 rivals other high-end wireless headsets in terms of performance and comfort. It features noise canceling tech as well as 2.4 gigahertz wireless and Bluetooth connections. The H9 ear cups feature Sony's soft fit leatherette, which is borrowed from the audio giant's flagship WH-1000X headphones. Let's see. The H7 doesn't support digital noise canceling and uses a fabric material on the ear cups rather than the soft fit leatherette. And then the H3 version is kind of like a much cheaper version of all these things, and kind of scales it back. But $229 versus $299, you probably just pay the extra $70 at that point, right? And get all the noise canceling tech. I mean, if you're gonna spend that much money on it anyhow, right?
Every time you said soft fit there in my head, I just went soft fit.
Soft fit leatherette. Yes.
Leatherette. Yeah, no, I mean an extra $70 for the noise canceling, I would pay that. I actually already do have I have the PS5 headset.
Right.
And I got it with my review unit because I got the I was part of that whole process, and so they sent me that, and I was like, this is a good headset. Like, I really like it. It's very light. I have a long neck and a small head, so I can't put too much weight up here. You know, it gets uncomfortable. However,
I have a big neck and a big head, so just we represent everyone here.
Well, heads are accounted for. But that headset makes me look like a fucking idiot.
Okay.
Yeah, no, because my head is so small, and so I'm like, if I could get, I don't know, this looks good. This looks like a kind of normal headset. I don't know. I would I be in the mood to buy another one? Like,
yeah,
I've used regular headsets, and like the Sony spatial audio stuff is really good.
I'm over headsets, I think. I'm gonna like probably for the most part, I'll pick them up because I need them for Discord and talking to friends. Obviously, when I'm playing games, but when it comes to spending hundreds of dollars on audio equipment, it's going to go towards actual surround sound speakers, or at least a very good sound bar with a good subwoofer. So you get that at least that good 2.1 up front, but I mean, surround sound, those like surround sound systems in a box or whatever, like the Vizio soundbar that comes with the subwoofer that plugs into two surround bars.
Oh, that's the one I've got.
It's a good one. It's really surprisingly really great for like how easy it is to set up. And I'm like, okay, after experiencing that, I'm just gonna. That's where my investment's going to go. I think it's a huge upgrade to get like a surround sound system. I suppose these incorporating all of the special Sony features probably makes them maybe a little bit better of an experience, but it's just not where I'm spending my money these days. In addition to the headsets, InZone gaming monitors also got announced by Sony. Sony's jump into the gaming monitor business is starting with two models. The M9 is a 27-inch 4K monitor for $900, while the M3 is a 27-inch 1080p monitor. Though they have similar designs with a tripod stand, slim bezels, and a sleek PlayStation-esque appearance, thanks to a white and black white back panel, they have some notable differences. Let's see. The M9's 4K display boasts a full array local dimming, which optimizes lighting and enhances contrast. The aim here is to create a brighter, more vibrant picture that allows you to clearly distinguish objects and other players in dark corners of the map. For me, I like this, but like full array local dimming, so like the LEDs behind the thing turn off on certain parts of the screen so it can get really dark. I like that, but this is Sony. They have really good OLED tech. I kind of wish if you're going to put out a $900 monitor, it would just be OLED, right?
Yeah, Jesus. A $900 monitor for 27 inches?
Yeah, it's kind of, I mean, it's pretty spendy. I mean, listen.
That's a lot. Also, have you seen the picture of it? I thought they propped a PlayStation 5 underneath it to be like, this is how big it is. No, that's just the stand.
Is that what's stand? I'm not looking at that. Okay, maybe I can bring that up here.
Really weird.
Let's see. The M9 also only has HDR 600. It only gets the 600 nits of peak brightness. That's all. I mean, Sony also is really good at like HDR on many of its televisions. Like there's a Sony TV over here I have, and it has like 1700 nits at peak brightness. It gets very, very bright, and that's like one of the best features of it. Yeah, it's just not like monitors are different. You sit closer to them. Maybe you don't want them to be that bright, but I still think HDR 1000 OLED. A lot of these things would be really nice to have. That said, these let's see, the M9 4K. It does have 144 hertz refresh rate. That's nice to have. It supports, HDMI 2.1. So you're gonna with variable refresh rate, it's gonna support all the things. So you're gonna plug in a PS5. It's gonna be able to do all the things the PS5 can handle. So that at least is very nice.
That is nice, but I'm still probably not gonna pay that.
Yeah, like me neither. I got, I've got the stuff I need. I'm fine.
Yeah, like I'll just wait until the old Best Buy sale and see what last year's
yes.
last year's model I'm gonna pick up, as I have done for years.
Go get that Insignia. Give me that Insignia model TV, please.
I wish, like, I can hear my dad sort of crying from the UK, not crying, but like he really cares about audio. He really cares about like the TV and everything, and I'm just like, I can plug my games in. It's fine. I can see everything. Like his midlife crisis was a full audio setup in his living room. Like the full thing. Whereas I'm using a pair of $10 headphones. These are what I use for gaming. If I'm playing with my friends, where the right earbud doesn't even work. So
never mind. I'm gonna be mad on your dad's behalf. How dare you, Lucy? How dare you?
I know. I'm only getting half of Neon White.
Audio, jeez. Like, where no one's asking you to go out and get some fancy like experimental speaker that like uses like a lamb's skin to like shake and create noise. Like, no, just get it, use your decent speakers. You have the Vizio, use that, and then just put all the chat stuff on your headphones. There you go.
I should do that.
All right, Sony, I'm just gonna look up and thank you. I appreciate that. Yes. For me and Dad, I appreciate that.
I did get a pair of there was one year where I was going back and forth between the UK and the US a lot, so I bought a pair of Bose noise cancelling headphones, and I maintain that's one of the best things I've ever bought for flying, but I don't use them in my everyday life. I genuinely only use them on flights. So I need a good option.
I see what you mean about the PS5 being under the monitor. Let me transition over here for everybody. Yeah, that looks, I mean, it looks a lot like the PS5 and like the design aesthetic, but that looks very much like, if you were to like to glance at it, it looks like the side of a PS5 digital edition almost. Yeah, that is weird. Okay, very cool. Let's get back here. Okay, WWE 2K22's latest DLC includes Mr. T, Ronda Rousey, DOINK, and the British Bulldog. This is by Chris Scullion at VGC. The fourth DLC pack for WWE 2K22 is available today. The Clowning Around pack is named after Doink the Clown, the popular wrestler who competed in the then WWF between 1992 and 1995. The full list of superstars included in the new DLC is as follows: Doink the Clown, Mr. T, Ronda Rousey, the British Bulldog, Rick Boogs, and Dewdrop. Yes, there you go. I don't know Dewdrop. Really, I'm just excited about this because I like Doink the Clown. I think Doink the Clown is a very fun wrestler. I remember
I've never seen Doink the Clown.
Yeah.
Also, like if I was drunk or high and you could tell me anything, you could tell me any name of a wrestler and I would believe it.
Well, that's that problem is like that's very hard because you come up with any name and it probably is a wrestler somewhere. All right, here we go. Let's transition.
Dan says Evil Doink was better.
Yeah, there was multiple Doinks. That's right. Multiple people wrestled as Doink the Clown, and one of them. I like Doink because of the games where they basically would just like capture the appearance of the like in the 90s, and it was like the Mortal Kombat technology, and then they would make wrestling games based on that. And I'm like, Doink just looks so silly in this game, and well, I like him a lot.
That middle Doink.
The middle Doink is always.
Wait. Who's the Doink holding the other Doink? Go down.
All right. There's there's Doink, and then that looks like a mini Doink, a little Doink next to him. Listen, babyface ran in WWE, so maybe he ran as a babyface.
DINK.
Oh, it's DINK. Okay, thank you, chat. Thank you, Doink and DINK. That makes too much sense. I don't know why
It's
we ever.
Rocket just screaming, his name is Dink.
I don't know how we could have possibly guessed anything else. All right. Skull and Bones release date and pre-order bonuses have seemingly leaked. This is by Tom Ivan at VGC. It's claimed the long-delayed pirate game will be unveiled next week. We've talked about that previously. A release date and pre-order incentives for Ubisoft's pirate game Skull and Bones have also seemingly leaked now. This is the bonuses listed include missions, a digital soundtrack, and an art book. And these were reportedly revealed after the Xbox Store listing went live for some of these updates. Oh man, I practiced this name before. Let me see if I can get it. Aggiornamenti Lumia. Aggiornamenti. That's the whole first name. Aggiornamenti. Who regularly reports on listings that are added to the Xbox and Windows Store before they're made public, has also claimed that the long-delayed game will finally be released on November 8th, 2022. The leaks seemingly corroborate claims that Ubisoft will finally re-reveal the online pirate game next week. And that, of course, that came from Tom Henderson. So Aggiornamenti and Tom are working together here to help us figure out Skull and Bones. Lucy, any excitement for Skull and Bones? I'm not. I don't.
I mean, I really wonder about what that game is even going to be at this point. I feel like Sea of Thieves sort of came out and really stole their lunch there. I remember doing all the media stuff for this game, E3 2018. I want to say, I think it was 2018 or 2017, and I remember interviewing them, and everyone was like super stoked about it. And then it just went so quiet. There was a shakeup in management. The guy I interviewed ended up getting the old boot.
Right.
And it's like I don't know what that game is anymore. I don't remember. What the hell's Beyond Good and Evil 2 at this point? I'm amazed that we're getting this resurgence of Skull and Bones. I feel like with everything, with all the leaks and stuff, yeah, it's probably going to be this year.
Yes.
That would make a lot of sense. I know they said it was going to be before end of fiscal year. With Starfield out of the way, maybe they're just like, oh, now's our time, boys.
Yes, now it's Skull and Bones time to dominate the industry. We were worried about Starfield before, but now it's Skull and Bones Day to rue the sun or whatever. It could come out. I'm probably not going to care too much about it. I don't think Ubisoft cares that much about it. That's making it very difficult for me to get any excitement going. I suppose a re-reveal could change my mind, but I'm just
depending on how exciting everything is. But also at the same time, it's like this is a little segue in my head, but like, do you ever, if you ever pre-order something, do you ever look at the digital soundtrack in art book?
No.
I don't. Why is the digital? Because the digital soundtrack is always on my PlayStation. I'm like,
oh, gross.
How am I going to access that?
Can you it's not downloading automatically, right? Is it just something you could stream? Because that's how it works on Steam, where I'm like, every once in a while I'll be like, oh, I've accidentally ended up with a bunch of soundtracks on Steam, and then I just open up the Steam media player and
there's a Steam media player?
I think so, yeah, because I can go to my library and the music. I'm not gonna do it now. But yeah, it's basically just a Winamp for a new day, for a new age. So yeah.
Yeah.
But it's
RP Winamp. Actually, no, Winamp's probably going to outlive us all.
Yes, that will too. Yes, people are going back to Winamp. I think we should all go back to Winamp and whip the llama's ass. And that's my opinion. All right, that's a
weird one.
Let's get to the catch up here. There was a Nintendo Direct Mini Partner Showcase yesterday. Giant Bob talked over it. Some people did. Some people were sleepy. You could watch that. We also went over the news on the Bombcast yesterday, where we talked about everything that was in it. But I figured we could go over some of the headlines here to catch up people who weren't watching and didn't listen to the Bombcast yesterday. Nintendo the Switch is finally getting Persona 5 Royal, along with Persona 4 Golden and Persona 3 Portable. That's pretty exciting stuff, Lucy.
Never see it coming, etc. No, that I mean, they waited too long. I already pre-ordered the Steam Deck. No, I'm kidding. I'm
gonna play it. I'm playing it on the Steam Deck, so yeah.
Honestly, I am probably going to play it on the Steam Deck. I'm pretty stoked. Like, Persona 4 is one of my favorite games of all time. Persona 5, especially the Royal version as well, just an absolutely fantastic game. Being able to play that on the go, I'm just happy for Switch owners because they are some of the best RPGs ever made.
Mike Minotti in chat is laughing because he's like, Jeff's gonna play Persona. Sure. Like, yeah, I'm gonna install it at least. I mean, I got a Steam Deck. I'm just gonna install it. We'll see what happens if I ever open it or not. Let's see. Okay. There was a bunch of games that are available now, or at least games and demos. Here's everything you can play right now from Nintendo's Direct Mini by Phil Hornshaw at GameSpot. Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak demo that is out now. I think that also has like the thing where if you start it, you can take that save with you if you already own the base game. I wonder how that works. That's exactly. Cool. Little Noah Scion of Paradise. That's a side-scrolling action game that launched, shadow dropped yesterday. That's available. I don't believe that is the story of Noah from the Bible, but maybe it is. Live Alive, that demo's out, and that definitely has the save carrying over to the final game. I downloaded that. I haven't started that, but that is a JRPG I am interested in. The HD 2D stuff really gets me. Is that one that you're going to check out, Lucy?
No, but I saw Per Schneider from IGN like doing a big old tweet thread about it when they announced it a few months ago. So it's piqued my interest. Right. But honestly, like I feel I'm terrible. My Switch has not been turned on for a number of months.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I know. I'm a bad gamer. But it's mostly because I've been trying to finish Elden Ring. But I'm interested. I need to dip back into and see what stuff I've missed. I've been really wanting to play Three Houses again.
Well,
I don't want to play the
Three
Hopes or whatever.
There you go.
The Three Hopes, but I just like, what if I just
do a different path in Three Houses?
Sweet Claude again. Yeah.
Oh, you're just gonna do the same? Are you gonna do the same house again?
I mean, someone who replays Mass Effect and just romances Garrus every time,
I do the same thing.
I'm a creature of habit, but no, I do want to do the Eagle's Roof, so I might do that.
Let's see here, and then Portal Companion Collection, which people said was a pretty good. A port of those games is now available on the Switch as well. Other things that happened at this direct: Dragon Quest Treasures is coming this December. Return to Monkey Island is headed to Nintendo Switch first on consoles. Nier Automata comes to Nintendo Switch this fall with all content and new costumes. I hope you get to play with 2B in a Mario costume. I think that'd be very good.
Please, like I need them to dig deep and just get the most ridiculous Nintendo tie they possibly can.
Actually, I'm trying to think what that would be. Would it be what is it, Daisy Kong? Daisy Kong from Donkey Kong Country or whatever?
A Yoshi suit.
Yes, a Yoshi suit, absolutely. It's like those Halloween costumes. Slutty Abe Lincoln, slutty Yoshi costume for 2B.
Yoshi.
Yes. Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope. It's got its release date. That's coming in October, I believe. That is right as soon as we're done here. There's going to be a thing right at noon where Ubisoft's going to talk more about that game. I don't know. Maybe it'll crash in here and I'll have it play in the background as we're trying to finish the show. Let's see. Mega Man Battle Network Legacy Collection announced for PC and console. That's coming to the Switch. I think if you get the digital versions, it comes in part 1 and part 2. I think there's also going to be a physical version. And then new Switch game Harvestella evokes Animal Crossing and Stardew Valley. This is from Square Enix. There were a lot of farming games. Lucy, did you have a favorite farming game series that you're super into? Or have you checked out anything from this Harvestella, or did that not register with you?
I didn't take a look at that one. I mean,
The name doesn't stand out, so I don't blame you. But it's like the one big Square Enix game that was at this thing at the Nintendo Direct.
So I love the concept of a farming game. Right. I've put many an hour into Stardew, similar with Animal Crossing, but it's not a thing that can hold my attention the whole time. However, Bear and Breakfast is out next month.
There you go.
Not technically farming, similar vibes though.
Life like management. It's like a management sim, right? Instead of managing a farm, you're managing a bed and breakfast. Like, I get. Yeah,
there's also like a massive sale on The Sims at the moment, and I do have like the little the pack, the cottage living and the seasons packs where you can grow stuff. So maybe I'll just go back to The Sims.
Yeah, I feel like I got all the expansion packs for The Sims on Steam as like a means of being like, I want to get it back into The Sims someday, and I'm just gonna throw myself in. So looking forward to it.
I'll do it.
And Animal Crossing like Disney Dreamlight Valley plants a September release date. These are all good headlines, and they all come from GameSpot. Disney Dreamlight Valley obviously sounds a lot like Stardew Valley, but there's more going on. It is very similar to Animal Crossing as well. It's like life sim stuff. I don't know. It looks fun, especially for anyone who's like a Disney adult. Is that the mean words that people used to describe people like Mike Minotti, Disney adults? But I think I think it still looks like a lot of fun. All right, then Zelda Breath of the Wild's Dubious Food is now a Switch player icon. This is by Jordan DeVore at Destructoid. I saw this, and I mostly put it out there as a reminder for me to, like, as soon as we're done here, get my Switch out so I can go to the Nintendo Switch online store and use my Platinum points to get some new player icons. And I will be getting the Breath of the Wild Dubious Food icon and setting that as what I look like on Switch from now on. Because I'm the human version of Breath of the Wild's Dubious Food, Lucy, and I want everyone to know it.
Everyone's gonna be fear me. I am the Breath of the Wild dubious food. I just have my me just kind of lounging like
Oh,
that and
that's
kind
very
of
good
going.
too.
That's
Yes.
my favorite. That's my favorite. Casual.
Let's see here. Let me transition over to assets again. Games with Gold from Xbox Live Gold were announced this month for July. Not a lot of bangers here. Not a lot of super things that are super enticing. But it's let's see, what are they here? They're trying to see if I wrote them down here. Okay, they are Thrillville Off the Rails. That's the Xbox 360 one. Torchlight is the other Xbox 360 one. Torchlight's probably the best game here. Then there is the Beasts of Maravilla Island. This looks interesting, but I just haven't heard anything about it before.
Me either.
And then the last one is Relicta. And so let's see. Beast of Maraville is available July 1st through the 31st. Relicta is July 16th through the August 15th. Thrillville is July 1st, and then Torchlight is coming, let's see, July 16th as well. So there you go. And then finally, I saw this game here that I thought I would show off because it just looks so chill, and it's coming to America and Canada and North America. It's called Crayon Shin-Chan, My Summer Vacation. And it just looks like such summer chill vibes. And I'm so glad it's getting English translations. This is the Japanese trailer.
Yeah.
Let me make it bigger here for everybody. Oh, that's way too big. I don't know. I think it just looks
big.
I think it looks very good. It looks very exactly my jam.
Yeah.
There we go. Now we got everybody. So yeah, everyone look into that. It's coming to PS4 and Nintendo Switch later this year in August. I'm really looking forward to it. So check it out.
Yeah, it looks very sweet.
Yeah, it looks very sweet and cute. And he just like is fishing, and then he just sighs real big while taking a bath. That's fun. That's the life I want. Yeah, there he goes. All right. So let's get to the question that I gave everybody earlier this week. Have you tried gaming on the Netflix app? And let's see. Well, I get that. We talked a little bit about this because I actually asked this question twice because I never actually posted the tweet. Lucy, have I asked you this one? Have you used the Netflix app to play like Point B or anything?
God, I haven't tried. DOINK is back.
Yes.
I haven't not tried any of Netflix's gaming offerings, but they just got Into the Breach, right? Because
that's right. That's why we brought this up. So they're getting Into the Breach Advanced Edition, and that's the kind of thing where I'm like, now I'm like, I actually am interested in that. And then I remember Point B was on there, and I wanted to like check in on that. So I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool. So I actually did load up Point B and use that. And let's see. Okay, so do you play or do you plan to play games on the Netflix mobile app? Only around 10% said yes, 90% said no. So there you go. With most people, I think this is kind of thing where the audience here is very specifically not going to be thinking about Netflix as a way to get into games. But I think even like 1 out of 10 people being like, yeah, I might do that. Like it's a slow process, right? They need to slowly build up to having a lot of things to like win people over. It worked with me with Into the Breach, and that's not even out yet. So I checked out Point B. And I think like if they keep adding games along those lines, that they could slowly win over people. At least that's the strategy they seem to be employing. So when Into the Breach goes on there, are you going to open up the Netflix app and actually try Advanced Edition?
I think so. I mean, the main thing that I have with Netflix is that it has a real discovery issue. Both in terms of its former editorial division, like Netflix just, but in terms of like the absolute just so much content that Netflix has, and like not everything is treated the same. Like so much stuff launches on Netflix, and you miss a lot of it unless it's got like a massive amount of promotion, like something like the Umbrella Academy. And so my concern about gaming for Netflix is I don't understand where that sits within the Netflix ecosystem. I don't understand how they're going to promote it and even get the attention on it that it kind of needs and deserves to grow as a business. So that's kind of my thing. That's the thing. Like I've had a Netflix subscription for over 10 years. I've had a Netflix subscription since House of Cards came out.
Right.
If you ask me where to find the games on Netflix, I couldn't tell you.
Right. So it's only on the mobile phone app, and then there is like a tab that you click, And then when you click on that tab, it takes you just to a list of games, and it looks a lot like the Netflix interface. And you can say, okay, I want to try this. And as long as you're signed into a Netflix account that's active, it takes you, basically for me on Android, it took me to a link inside the Google Play Store where then I could download that game as an app. And then now I open it up. And when I open up the game, it's just like any other app, but it opens up with a Netflix splash screen. And my Netflix account, like
iPhone?
image is it should just work. I think it works on iPhone as well. So
We'll have a look.
yep. So yeah, I don't know. It's it is going to take a long time for the strategy to work, but I think that they're on the right path at least, and they're not trying to like make it all happen in one day or 1 year where they're like, oh, we're going to just go from 0 to Stadia being like the fourth console. Everybody, it seems like taking a much more deliberate strategy, and that's probably the way of doing it.
Wait, did you say there was a tab?
I think it's
I have to scroll to here, and that's where the games are. So it doesn't. There's new and hot.
Weird.
There's Fast Laughs, which is basically a TikTok but for Netflix clips.
Right. That is that's the thing where I'm like, they don't know what to do. They're like, oh, we got to compete with TikTok. I'm like, Netflix, you're in trouble if that's what you think you need to be doing.
Games is not a tab.
Like, I would never pay a subscription for TikTok, even though, I'm probably watching more TikTok than Netflix these days. But like, that's not what I want to pay a subscription for ever. So Netflix, if that's what you think that is the solution here, I'm so sorry, honey. All right. What grade would you give the Nintendo Direct Mini? So this is for tomorrow, everybody. I'll put up the poll here in a second, and we'll go A, B, C, and then D or lower. I thought that was a pretty good Direct Mini, especially because they set expectations correctly. But yeah, we'll talk about that tomorrow, everybody. Lucy, you want to give your grade? What grade would you give it?
A B.
Yeah, that sounds right to me. That sounds right. That sounds
There's
exactly
a
right.
B.
All right, everybody, we're gonna get out of here real soon, but first up, what is happening on Giant Bomb? Lucy, we got anything going up? I think you mentioned a few things you guys were recording, right?
Yeah, so Jeff's Bizarre Adventure is going up today. I'm so sorry in advance because I looked up some Rule 34 on that. I mean, at least it's an audio podcast, it's fine.
It had to happen eventually, though.
Yeah, did not share the links. But no, it's all about episodes 5 and 6, I believe, of One Punch Man season 1. There is going to be a little clip going out. I didn't know you were a deviant. Yes, you did, Mike. You did. There's a good reason for why we did it. But anyway, so that's going up today. There should be Arcade Pit. I believe Albumer is. Where's the graphic, Jeff? Where's the graphic?
Yeah, you're right. I should.
It has so much on.
There was so much on. We moved the Neon White Invitational, I believe, to next week, I think. So look out for that. There are fun things happening there to get it for next week. I'm gonna go to Giant Bomb, and then I think we have it right here. Oh, here's for Wednesday, everybody. I'm gonna transition over there. So yeah, Game Mess Mornings finishing right now. Jeff's Bizarre Adventure, One Punch Man 03, and then Arcade Pit, and then Al Bummer. And then, we'll have a bunch of stuff going up for the rest of the week as well. Keep your eyes open. We'll be back tomorrow with Game Mess Mornings, and lots of quick looks are happening. I think we're going to do a Cuphead quick look here today, so keep an eye out for that. So, all right. Well, let's get out of here. Lucy, you want to tell the people about anything else you're working on before I throw to the exit here?
What am I working on? I'm working on a bunch of stuff over on GameSpot too. I'm streaming The Quarry, twitch.tv/LucyJamesGames, and all over Giant Bomb.
Yep, and with that, we are going to get out of here. Thank you so much, Lucy. I really appreciate it. Thank you for being the best audience in gaming, everybody. The show's only ever as good as the audience, because, it's honestly true. It just sounds like something I wrote in the script here, and I'm going to say every time, but I really mean it. And until the next Morning Mess, have a good one. Take care of yourself, and goodbye.